Hello, surprise, it's me, it's another weekly Waypoint, and there's already been a video where I've talked about all of the Xbox and Bethesda Showcase stuff, which you might have expected to hear in this video, so if you haven't seen that, go check the channel, there's a video all about it, so I'm not really going to mention any of that here, because I still have quite a lot to talk about outside of that. The first thing I want to quickly mention before we get too far into things is I have ordered a pop filter, so I know my P's and my S's and stuff spike a little bit at the minute, but there should be a pop filter arriving by tomorrow to finally iron that out and give you guys the best listening experience when it comes to me. I was editing the Xbox and Bethesda Showcase video, and it really kind of stood out to me after like 20 minutes. I was like, okay, this needs to be addressed. Also, I still have a cold, so I still sound slightly bleh. Basically, after I finished rendering and uploading the Xbox Bethesda Showcase last night, I came over feeling all feverish. I fell into bed and I slept for about 12 hours, and now I'm feeling slightly better. But anyway, besides all that, where shall I begin? Well, how about with the fact that you are watching Nintendo Switch Sports, which is one of the games I got for my birthday. So that's fun, isn't it? I thought I'd play some bowling, because I think I'm pretty decent at the bowling. I've played every game except football so far, purely because I can't really be asked to strap the Nintendo Switch controller to my foot, which is something you need to do for that game. I can't really picture it being a particularly fantastic experience, but I will try it out at some point soon. Who knows, maybe I'm completely wrong and it's the most fun sport in the entire game, but no, I like bowling, I like tennis, badminton's alright. Volleyball is a little bit too involved for my liking. You've kind of got to wait for an almost scripted set of circumstances and then perform the right move, and that just doesn't really appeal to me. Fencing, or whatever it's called, I don't think it's called fencing, it's called something else, it's not quite fencing, but the one with the swords is okay. The blocking feels weird to me, because it feels like you need to block in the same direction as you're being swung, if I remember right, which feels like the opposite of how it should be. But yeah, it's really fun. I like the fact that you basically earn points at the end of each game that you can use to spend on a set, like a random... It's kind of like a loot box, but not really. Like, it's like a sticker book. You'll see it at the end of this bowling match. It's like a sticker book, and it gives you a random reward out of the ones you haven't already unlocked, so you can't get duplicates, and when you finish that page, you get like a bonus reward. And at the minute, they've got a really cool sci-fi looking set, so you can use that to customize your character, which I think is pretty darn neat, and they rotate out every so often as well. I don't know if they ever come back, I would assume they do, but yeah, I quite like that. I like that there's more to this game than just the flat out games themselves. They are adding golf in an update at some point in autumn, I believe, so gonna be looking out for that as well. And I kind of hope they keep updating it with new sports as they go along, but given that it's like a £30 game and the golf thing is a free update, I kind of doubt it. Maybe they'll do paid DLC, who knows, we'll wait and see. Now, I just mentioned that it was my birthday, turned 27, I went out to see the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, and you know, it's kind of rare that I go out to see a movie that isn't a comic book movie these days, to be honest. I'm not really like a connoisseur of cinema or anything pretentious sounding like that. I don't really go and watch a whole lot of movies, and if I do, if they're like, you know, actual movies and not just like adaptions of comic book stuff, it's usually like at home, you know? So it felt like kind of a risk going to see this on my birthday, but I'd heard really good things. I know it was about a multiverse and stuff like that, and yeah, it's a bloody fantastic film. I'm not going to talk too much about it because of spoilers, but also because it's kind of difficult to explain what that movie is. I recommend you go and watch a trailer for it. You'll probably get a general vague idea of what the movie's about then, and yeah, honestly, just go see it. It's so good. I think everyone should see it. I think it's a movie that everyone should see, even you. Even you. I also went into CEX, and what I find funny about CEX these days, oh, for those of you who don't know, that's the name of a second-hand gaming shop here in England, is I kind of like, for the last 5 or so years, saw CEX as a pointless endeavour because most games are digital now anyway, or like, I mean, especially for movies and stuff, but in terms of games, you can get decent deals digitally and stuff anyway, or you can just order them online secondhand, so CEX kind of feels like a pointless place to go, but it's been around for so long now that I feel like half of their stock is now in their favour, in the fact that it didn't sell over the last 5 years, because now it's like retro gaming stock, right? Like, if you count the PS3 as retro gaming, gaming, I was very excited to find out that they had a quite a decent selection of PlayStation 3 games still on the shelves, at least my store did. So I picked up 3 games to the PlayStation 3, which you might see videos on in the future. I picked up Need for Speed Most Wanted, which is a game I have actually played on the PS3, but only through PlayStation Plus, which I don't really plan on buying again just to play that. I bought Need for Speed Most Wanted for £4. I bought Motorstorm, because that's like one of the launch games to the PS3 that I always really wanted to get back in the day when I was pining for my PS3 that I didn't get for years and years. So I'm very curious to see not just how that plays, but how it holds up as like a next generation game in 2022. I got that one for £2, and I got God of War 3 for £4 because I was looking for God of War 1 and 2, the HD collection, but unfortunately they didn't have that, at least not physically, so I thought I might as well pick up God of 3 while it's right in front of me for £3. I'll probably just get God of War 1 and 2 HD digitally, and play them that way. I did play a bit of God of War 1, the HD version on PlayStation Now, the cloud streaming service, and it was pretty fun, but because obviously I was playing over cloud streaming and it wasn't the best cloud streaming service at the time, it was kind of hampered by the, you know, input delay and stuff like that, but I think I'd probably enjoy that game quite a lot if I actually had it on my PS3, you know. So yeah, I really like it because I was really late to the PlayStation 3's life cycle, and pretty quickly I stopped playing the PS3 because it was already aging, and I started playing like my laptop and stuff like that instead, games on my laptop I should say, and then I got a Switch as well in 2017, so stuff like that kind of means that I never played a huge amount of a PlayStation 3's library. I did have a decent amount of games, but now the games that were kind of on my radar from back in the day I can typically find in CEX for like £4 or less, so that's pretty fun. I might go back in there at some point and grab some more games, but I'm gonna try and not like just spend like 50 or 60 quid on like tons and tons of PS3 games, because I know I won't get around to all of them if I do that. I'm going to try and play the ones I've got first. Can you imagine how much those second-hand PS3 games would cost if they'd shut down the PlayStation Network store? It wouldn't be £4, I tell you that much. They also had a lot of DS and 3DS games in there. Sadly, DS games didn't really interest me in any way. The Pokemon games in there are still like 40 quid, by the way, but I'm kind of surprised they're not worth more, to be honest. But there were some 3DS games which were interesting. The only problem is they're not £4, they're like 30 quid still, but like I've been kind of interested in like Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon, and like Bravely Default was in there too, and I don't know if those prices are about to rocket up when the 3DS eShop shuts. Maybe I was stupid for not buying them when I saw them, but I don't know, I could probably buy those for the same price online, and I've already bought out of FOMO. I've already bought Dragon Quest 7 and 8 like I was mentioning a few months ago. I don't want to waste all my money on buying games just because they're going to cost more in the future. Who knows, maybe I'm making a big mistake. Oh well. Oh well. Of course CEX also have a whole bunch of PS4 and 5 games, Xbox Series S and X games, stuff like that, but you know, like I said, the future's digital, so why bother? And yes, I know the physical collection argument of the games you buy digitally could go away at any time or whatever, and like, I get it, you're saying that I don't like legally technically own these games or whatever, and it's up to the companies to still exist and let me download these games and make sure that my console doesn't die and I'm not able to download them again in the future, stuff like that. But when it comes down to it, when it really comes down to it, everything's ephemeral, right? Like, just the fact that you own these games physically doesn't mean that you're gonna particularly own them forever. Like, I don't know, like time's a bitch, let's just put it that way. I try not to worry too much about a future like that, you know, like just having my games digitally is fine. By the time we're far in the future and games become difficult to download on those systems, it's probably super easy to emulate those systems at that point anyway, so it's fine. I put my trust in video game archives. I'm no video game doomsday prepper, put it that way. Anyway, other games I got for my birthday include Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 1 to 4, and the 4 includes all the DLC, and Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1 and 2, because there's a massive sale on Xbox right now, which is very handy, lined up very nicely with my birthday. And I'll admit, I do already own those games on Steam. I have already tried them over there before. I really enjoyed 3, but I kind of wandered off from it. And when I tried 1, I found it really unintuitive, like it had aged badly, and it was difficult to get into. But this time I'm further through 1, I've learned more about how to fight, I'm having a really good time with with it. And also I never owned the DLC for 4, so that's my justification for buying it on a different platform, I guess, question mark. I haven't tried Dragon Ball Xenoverse yet. I'm kind of hesitant to, because I think learning 2 different fighting games at once will be harder than learning how to play a fighting game in just a single game at a time, because for those of you who don't know, I guess that would be anyone, because it's not like I've talked about it before. I'm not really into fighting games, I've not really played them before. And as it turns out, Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm is not the best one to start with, because it kind of assumes you already know how to play fighting games. I mean, throughout a Genin training arc, you do learn a little bit more about how to fight, but at the start, like, you need to do side missions to unlock the main story missions, which teach you how to play the game, which is what you need to do in the side missions. It's not very well thought out. Also, sadly, it seems that Ninja Storm 1 doesn't have the fully animated cutscene retelling of the story that's in 3. I hope 2 does. But at the minute, the way the story is told in 1 is just like, okay, and then this happened, and then we were fighting Orochimaru, go. Which is a bit of a shame. But I already know how good it gets in Ninja Storm 3, so, you know, it's probably going to be okay. As for why I bought Dragon Ball Xenoverse, I was more tempted to buy, I forget what the name is, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I was tempted to buy that one instead, because that is a retelling of the events of Dragon Ball Z, you know, the entirety of that manga and anime, which I've read the entirety of but never watched. I have mentioned on this show how I fell off reading Dragon Ball, what is it? What's the name of the new one? Dragon Ball Super, right? I fell off of reading that immediately when I realised 5 issues in it wanted me to go and watch a completely separate movie, but it seems like this is just Dragon Ball Z, so that's pretty cool. And I still might buy it at some point, but Dragon Ball Xenoverse seems like a weird type of game where, like, you're like a self-insert because someone's gone along trying to change the events of the original series of the Dragon Ball Z. Oh my god, I can't talk. Of the Dragon Ball Z series, at least. And it seems like similar, but like it's just instead of you playing as Goku, you're making your own character. And I don't know, it just seemed cool, and it was cheaper. Or maybe Kakarot wasn't on sale, I don't remember, but it's what I went with, who knows. So yeah, in summary, I got lots of video games for my birthday, and I feel like a kid. I'm like, here's what I got for my birthday. I got this game and I got this game. Christian, did you get any like adult things? Anything useful to help you throughout life? No, I just got video games. Now, I put out a little update video a few days ago mentioning that don't worry, I'm still working on classic Doctor Who, mostly because I've spent most of my free time watching like Stranger Things and The Boys and everything, because everything seemed to have come out at once. So I'm going to just talk about those vaguely without spoilers for a minute. First of all, Stranger Things Season 4, or at least the first half of Season 4, because they've done it weirdly. I've heard a lot of criticism about this series, and I can kind of see where it comes from, because like there's like 4 different plot threads by the end of the season, and only one of those particular plot threads really feels like Stranger Things, but it's fine, it's fun. It's slightly stupid in one of the plot threads, but it's good fun. I didn't like dislike it for any reason at all. I can just see where the criticism comes from. The Boys Season 3 is definitely another season of The Boys. It's very gritty and dark and gross and crass and fun, and literally I think I'm slightly terrified of Homelander. You never know what he's going to do next. This season in particular feels like the season where you're waiting for him to lose it and fucking just go full villain mode. More than he already has been, I guess. That's not a spoiler, by the way. That's just kind of like the general season premise. Really enjoying Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't think I've talked about it so far in this show, but it's really good. It's different to the prequels, specifically Obi-Wan Kenobi's character himself. He's very different to the Obi-Wan Kenobi that we knew, but it's a really good middle ground between the prequels and the original trilogy. Like, specifically how they handled Darth Vader feels like the perfect blend of the 2 versions of the character. It's really, really well done, and I encourage everyone to go and see it. Because yes, spoilers, Darth Vader is in this show, as we all knew he was going to be. And finally, the first episode of Ms. Marvel came out, and that's really good too. Everything's really good, I'm eating well. Seems like it's going to be a fun coming-of-age / superhero story, so yeah, my favourite thing about what I played of the Avengers game was Ms. Marvel, so was Kamala Khan, so I'm glad that they're doing her justice, it seems like, in this show. I've heard that they've changed her powers a bit, and from what I can see from what's in the Avengers game and what's in this show, yeah, it does look like they've changed her powers a bit, which is kind of weird, but you know, it's fine. It's not really that they've changed what her powers do, it's that they've changed where they come from and how they look. But let's be real, that wouldn't be the first time they've done that for a live action thing. Remember when Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was able to shoot webs out of his fucking wrists instead of like wrist web things that he makes? For years growing up I thought that's just what Spider-Man's powers were, but no, it turns out that's not the case. When I heard that he made their web shooters, that's what they're called, I've remembered now. When I heard that he makes his web shooters, I thought, well, that's kind of lame. Like, I preferred them coming out of his wrists. But I got used to it in time, and I think now it kind of makes more sense than the wrist web fluid stuff. That's kind of weird. Anyway, I treated you to a game of bowling and now a game of tennis. I think I was against an AI in this match, but I still didn't wipe the floor with him, which is probably not a good sign. I don't think I'm that great at tennis, but it's fun to try and get better. I've heard that there's like ranked leaderboards, so I'm hoping to unlock those soon. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. Maybe leave a like if you liked it, and let me know in the comments about some of the stuff that I talked about, I guess. What's your favourite movie, or what's your favourite show out of the ones I talked about, and have you seen Everything Everywhere All at Once? Yeah, bye!